From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DBICD PrimeTime Capper. It is time for the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles Live. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. I hope you are feeling the same. And as you guys know, the show has been around for I would say, like we're going into our fourth year now. So it's pretty cool and everything like that. We started the show in 2018 when I was staying in Vegas and all that good stuff. And we've had times where the show was on the radio for a while. With our former partners and everything like that. Not going to give them any promo though. So, pretty much if you knew, you knew. And then we transitioned over here to the stream. So, all good. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Let's go ahead and jump into our first subject in hand, and that's going to be last night. The Browns crushed the Bengals 32-13 to snap a 4-game losing streak. Can this be the turnaround game for the season for the Browns? The Browns came into this one really, really lagging hard. And I think all in all that the Browns are going to be able to really build off of this because it's week 9 next week and they have a bye. And then it's going to be week 10 and they have a game that looks like it could be winnable for them. But this is what occurs week 11. They get ready for Deshaun Watson to be freed from his suspension. He'll be available week 12. So the Browns have 2 more weeks to go without Deshaun Watson, and possibly they can spark their season at that point. Because when he comes back, guess who they're playing? They're playing Tampa Bay at home. They got 2 road games in a row. They're playing against Miami and they're playing against Buffalo. Both of these games, they'll probably be the dog in those games, all 3 of those games. Then their last 6 games of the season: Houston, Cincinnati, Baltimore, New Orleans, Washington, Pittsburgh. When you look at that schedule, they can win 4 out of 6 of those games. Now, if they can go ahead and get maybe 2 out of 3 of these games, they might be able to have themselves a shot at the playoff spot. But with that win last night, it showed us a lot of things. And I think that the Browns, as long as they have a healthy Nick Chubb in place, and if they can hold on to Kareem Hunt today or tomorrow, I think they'll be able to move forward and have themselves a shot at the playoffs. Let's go ahead and I'm looking at the standings now, and they have an opportunity to win their division as well too. So the Browns, I would say, don't count them out. Their effort last night was very impressive. That's all I can say. They were very impressive last night. The Browns are sitting in 3rd place right now, 3-5. Cincinnati's 4-4. Baltimore's 5-3. The Browns are 2-1 in the division as well too. So that works into their favor as well. But they aren't playing well against the conference, and that will work against them if they getting into the playoffs. So the Browns will have to hope for some luck a little bit for these teams to kind of falter a little bit that are ahead of them, but they already have an advantage over the Bengals. Let's go through the stats last night, which were incredible when you look at them. Nick Chubb had himself 101 yards last night on 23 attempts. He scored 2 touchdowns, and he got a 2-point conversion. Amari Cooper played to his contract, 5 receptions, 1 touchdown for 131 yards. Amari Cooper found himself in some really good spots last night. The Browns were so good on 3rd down as well, too. They went 8 for 13 last night, had 24 first downs, had 440 combined yards, 268 through the air, 172 on the ground. And they were able to run 69 plays last night. So That was huge. And total rushes last night, 44. So the Browns kept the ball on the ground. Even though their quarterback got sacked twice, they had 5 sacks last night, and that included a big one from Myles Garrett in that spot as well, too. Myles Garrett finally getting off the snide after his car accident. He had a sack and a half last night. Taki had a sack last night as well, too. Brian also had a sack. And then Isaiah Thomas had a big sack last night as well. And then their brand new linebacker also include Deion Jones got into the mix as well. But the Browns they really own Joe Burrow in that offensive line, dude. And Joe Burrow, I think he's been sacked about 20 times by the Browns and 5 last night. And you guys already know that Miles has a 9.5 or has 10 on him for a career. So it's just the Bengals got to figure the Browns out. I know they went to the Super Bowl last year, but Joe Burrow has never beat them. He is now 0-4 against the Browns. So there it is. The Browns, can they turn it around? Hey, anything can happen. They're 3-5. They're heading into the second half of the season. They get a bye as well, too. And I'm looking at their schedule. If they can go ahead and possibly win their next, I would say they don't have 10 games left, but if they can win 75 to 80% of those games, they should have a good chance at the playoffs, because this playoff picture is going to get really murky in a minute. So let's go ahead and move on to our next topic at hand, and it's going to be this one. It's going to be in the NBA last night, and we're going to talk about the hottest team in the league. It's not the Warriors. It's not the Suns. It's not the Nets. It's not the Bucks, but it's the Utah Jazz, who finished October with a 6-2 record, including a 121-105 win over the Grizzlies last night. Is it hype or legit? You know, I always ask that question, hype or legit? And when I say hype or legit, that means that, are they for real, or is this just a bunch of hype? So when I look at Utah is a team that nobody gave a shot to. They really felt like this team was just on the rebounding stage. Ja Morant still had 37 points last night and 4 assists, 5 rebounds, but that just was not enough because he couldn't get enough from his teammates. Other than him, they only had 2 guys in double figures last night. That was Brooks, and that was Dylan Brooks and Tyus Jones. That's not good. And then their starting 5 was really no help last night. You know, Adams got his rebounds last night. Aldama got his rebounds last night, but they didn't do much scoring last night. And Conchar was just running up and down the court with his 4 points. But it's hard to do these things without Desmond Bane. Also, they were out. They were without another key player as well too. So they just didn't have it last night. They lose by 16. They were still the favorite because nobody's taking the Jazz seriously. But then I look at the Jazz line. They had 6 guys in double figures last night. Lauri Markkanen had 31 last night to lead all scorers on the Utah side. Then Mike Conley had a good game with 15 points. Jordan Clarkson kicked in his 11. And then off the bench, you have Malik Beasley, Colin Sexton, and THT, the former Laker, all kicking big time points off the bench. Beasley had 18, Sexton had 15, THT had 13. So that would equate to 46 points off the bench last night. So that was huge. And the Grizzlies just didn't have much coming off their bench last night. But when you look at the Jazz, though, through the month of October, they were literally the best team. They started off the season winning their first 3 games against 3 teams that were in the playoffs last season: Denver, Minnesota, and New Orleans. Then they caught their first L in Houston by 6, and then came back around, beat Houston the next 2 days later in Utah, and then wind up winning their next 2 out of 3, including 2 in a row over Memphis in back-to-back setups at the house. So they roll into November on a 3-game road trip. And actually, they're going to play their next 6 out of 7 games on the road as well, too. So be ready for that. And they're on their road stand. So the record might get a little different because they are traveling back east as well, too, for 4 of those games, for 3 of those games in this 6 out of 7 that they have. The other 3 would be Dallas, and then they got 2 games at Crypto with the Lakers and the Clippers, but they do get a day off in between. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But the Jazz are in a good spot, and they have been a team that has been able to get you that money, man. Because man, at the end of the day, the dogs are going to always bark, and they've been a dog literally in every single game that they played in this year. I think they've been a dog in every single game, and they've got 6 wins out the deal. So that means that if you're betting the Jazz to win games, that means you're probably a diehard Jazz fan. They are getting it done. So that's all I can say. And the Jazz 6-2 right now. And when you look at the stats and everything like that, everything is looking real good for the Jazz. If they was to start the playoffs today, the Utah Jazz would be now they don't have the most. Now they're 6-2, but the Portland and Phoenix are both 5-1. But the Jazz have literally played the most games in the group other than Houston. So when you look at the 6-2, they would be right up there to win the. They would be the 3 seed right now, but they have the most wins in the NBA right now, other than Milwaukee. So that's pretty good. Milwaukee is quietly 6-0 right now, and nobody's even talking about that. So, but they had 5 home games as well too. So it is what it is. So pretty much there it goes, and we move forward. Let's go ahead and jump into our next topic, and it's going to be the World Series Game 3. Let's try that again. The game got rained out last night between the Phillies and the Astros, and this is going to be critical for the Astros because I know that possibly they were really ready to get this thing started on Monday, but this works out in the favor of the Phillies because the Phillies been here before where they had to have an inclement game and then come back the next day and they were good. And the Phillies do have they do have the advantage in their corner. They have not lost a home game at all in this playoff, and they've been absolutely dominant at home as well too. Like when I say dominant, this team has been absolutely just a juggernaut. They beat up the Braves and they beat up the Padres as well too. So they've already came back from a 5-0 deficit in this series. So Houston knows that they can't mess around with this Phillies team. The Phillies right now have the hottest hitters in baseball, period, point blank, even hotter than the Astros right now, in my opinion. And with the Bryce Harper being the best player in the series on the Phillies, he gives the Phillies a real opportunity to shake some things up. But I think tonight, though, the Astros will play the spoiler. The Astros didn't do well in Atlanta last year when they were on the road, but the year before when they played the few years when they played the Nationals, they were able to win 3 in a row in Washington, D.C. So I think that when it comes down to this series right here, you have yourself a Phillies team that may play a little too hard tonight. So I like the Astros once again in this spot, and y'all will see with my World Series bets tonight where I'm headed to and what I like tonight on this deal. So Phillies and Astros, I would say you have to look at the pitching matchup and say they're going to go strike for strike tonight. I think that's what the case is going to be. I know that they had the over-under being 8 because both of the first 2 games had a lot of scoring to it. I think with the weather not being that great, it's going to be a game where it's going to take a lot of mental for these guys to snap on. And since they've had 3 days off, which hasn't been good for anybody in this playoff, it will probably favor the road team a little bit. And the way that the Astros walked into the Bronx, it's really hard to bet against them on the road because they haven't lost on the road yet. Now they lost a home game, but they didn't lose on the road yet. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. This is a battle of 2 teams that just haven't lost yet. So there it is. There it is on the road. One on the road, one at home. So this is going to be a very good game tonight. I expect this one to be low scoring and very, very in a thinking man's game. So all you people that want to see a lot of action and a lot of offense, I would suggest that you guys cut on the MAC football game. And since to talk about the MAC, let's go ahead and jump into the MAC football Tuesday night. And we got MAC football Tuesday night, MAC football Tuesday night. And we got Ball State going against Kent State tonight. And Ball State, where's Ball at? Where's Kent at? It cracks me up that these are state schools, but they got regular names like Ball and Kent. So you gotta love the MAC because they, like my brother always says, I can't trust no team that's a directional school. North Carolina, like North Alabama and South Alabama and West Alabama. Then there's Alabama. Like, all right, so you know, directional schools, as I like to say. But we love the MAC. The MAC is the conference of great betting during Tuesday and Wednesday. They make you love the game of football that much. Let's go ahead and get into the numbers for this game, though. You have a Ball State team that's coming in here 4-4 on the season. They have won their last 4 out of 6 after starting the season off losing, going 1-3. So they're in 0-3 actually. I'm sorry, but they're in a good spot. Actually, they won their last 3 out of 4 after starting the year 1-3. Sorry about that. So they've been really good, lately, and they have also are 3-5 against the spread. So that's something to look at. And then when you look at them as an underdog, they're 2-3. So they've been an underdog 5 times this season. They're 2-3 straight up and against the spread, and they're 1-2 on the road. So Ball State comes in here kind of at a disadvantage, but they do have the better record here. Kent State is 3-5, but Kent State's 3-5 against the spread, 2-2 in the MAC, and then you have this team 1-3 as a favorite against the spread, but they're 3-1 straight up as the favorite. Now at home, they're 3-0 straight up, but against the spread, they're 1-2. So you can see that they have a problem covering games, but they can win games, and they've played a little better, but they've had their issues here in the MAC as well too. But this is a game that's kind of catered to them to play very well tonight, and I think it is advantage Kent State because they've had a long break. But the same thing goes with Ball State. But I think Kent State is going to be real live tonight. Their fans love to come out, especially since it's going to be a TV game. So I do like them tonight in this spot. But I think that this one is more of a scoreboard watch. So we're going to see what it does with the over-under. But I have 3 bets for you for this game tonight. So you guys just stay tuned for that. So let's move on to our next MAC-tastic game. And that's going to be the Bills and I said the Bills, the Bulls, the Buffalo Bulls and the Ohio what are they? Bobcats. It's just like my elementary school. And the Ohio Bobcats come in here as the home dog tonight at 5-3. Buffalo, we already know the deal with this team. This team is high powered on the offensive end. They're 5-3 coming into the game as well too. Over under at 58.5. This is a top team matchup in the conference as well too. We got both these teams coming in here very hot in my opinion. I think that all in all, when you look at the MAC is very wide open this year, but these are 2 teams that you expect to be there trying to win the East Division at the end. You have Buffalo coming in 4-0 in conference play, while you have Ohio 3-1 in conference play. And then, Kent State's 2-2 as Ball State's 2-2, but these 2 teams are the top teams in the East Division, and both of them were kind of trying to hold off Bowling Green a little bit right here, who's 3-1 as well too. But when you look at the overall record, these 2 teams are 2 of the better teams record-wise in the conference. So this is going to be a good game in itself tonight. And when I look at the numbers here, you got Buffalo coming in here 6-1-1 against the spread. They're also 4-0-1 on the road against the spread. Then they're 3-2 straight up on the road, and then they're 3-1 as the favorite straight up and against the spread. Then you have Ohio coming in here 5-3 against the spread, just like their record, and then also they're 4-0 straight up at home. And then they're 3-1 against the spread at home. And then when it comes to being an underdog, which they've been in 6 of these 8 games that they've been in, they wind up being 4-2 in that spot against the spread, 3-3 straight up. So a lot of things working in Ohio's favor tonight as the dog, in my opinion. And the game is in Athens, Ohio, and it seems like Ohio always shows up when there's a national TV audience behind them as well too. So I think that this is going to be a really good game, but I'm shooting for the upset in this spot. But I got some more bets in this spot for you as well, too. So you guys already know what the deal is. You guys just go ahead and just wait for Talking Tickets. But before we do Talking Tickets, I'll have the NBA Wednesday night preview. So you guys stay tuned. This is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the Primetime Angles Live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Caps.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune in to Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
All right, we are back with the Premier Sports Betting Show, the Primetime Angles Live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. And man, it's time for the NBA Tuesday night preview. And man, oh man, and I'm just over here tweeting it out real quick that you guys need to get your butts in here and come check this out, the NBA Tuesday night preview. And up first that we have in the NBA Tuesday night preview is going to be this game. It's going to be the Bulls and the Nets. And this game is going to be in Brooklyn, baby. We live in Brooklyn, baby. Tuesday night preview, though. That's what it is. And pretty much, let's go ahead and jump into this one real quick, and not that game. But tonight, I think they knew they were on to something tonight. So the Nets are actually only a 1.5 point favorite tonight. And the Nets coming in here losers 5 out of 7 to start the season, but they did get it's crazy. Steve Nash got fired today, but they won last night, but they didn't win by much. And the Pacers aren't seen as a really good team this year. And I just truly do think that Steve Nash was a guy that was really supposed to not still be their head coach. He should have been done by the end of the playoffs last year, because that was embarrassing, getting put out of the playoffs in that spot and not having a chance at all to, and then Boston of all teams, where this was the team that traded Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce and all these really good players, and all you guys got all this stuff from the Celtics to put the franchise in a good position to start everything off, and nothing worked. But let's talk about the game and get in between the lines. I will say this tonight, that this one is going to be for a very, very good, this is a very good spot, for the Nets tonight, because a lot of people probably are going to try to fade the Nets because, they're transitioning coaches. Woo, woo, woo. But I really do trust Jack Vaughn in this spot tonight. Now, the Bulls come into this game 3-4, and the Bulls in the month of October actually dropped their last 2 games of the season after winning, winning their first 3 out of 5. But they dropped games back-to-back to San Antonio and Philadelphia, but they only lost by 5. So that's something that they can go right. That's something that they can bank on, and that makes a lot of people say, okay, I really like the Bulls tonight. Now you have a Nets team that's coming off their first win since the 4-game losing streak that they've had. They won by 7 last night, and their games in between that haven't been good, because they lost by 10, they lost by 11, They lost by 4, and they lost by 9, and they lost by 22 on opening night. So this team is giving up a lot of points as well too. Probably the best defensive effort they had last night was last night because they only gave 109 last night. So I know a lot of people do like the over tonight, but I think that with Jack Vaughn being very defensive minded, I'm very familiar with him because he went to John Muir High School, our rival here in Pasadena. I went to Pasadena High, and he also played for Kansas University. He was a highly touted point guard in high school and college. It's just that, when you get to the NBA, when you're 5'9", 5'10", you usually just become a bench guy. So he was good to be on the bench for a dozen years or so in the NBA. He's been a good bench guy as well too as a coach. So I think that he'll be able to preach some defense to these guys tonight and try to play the best possible defense that they can. So I'm going to probably go against the grain tonight. I like the under here. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But you guys just wait for it. Now I'll go ahead and I'll show you what I'm on tonight. But I do like the under here, and I think that the Nets have a good opportunity to win one at the Barclays tonight. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. And we move forward from there. Let's go ahead and move on to the Warriors and the Heat. And the Heat coming to this game 2-5, Warriors 3-4. And that's surprising because the Warriors were just so unbeatable. They're the best team in the NBA. Blah, 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 blah. So they came out, they got cocky and got real cute, and they've lost their last 3 out of 4 games. After starting the season 2-2, they've dropped their last 2 out of 3. So, including 3 out of 4. So, they're not playing good basketball right now. And they had a great game against the Lakers. And then they squeaked it out against the Kings. And then they beat the Heat by 13. So I know a lot of folks are looking at this. Well, they're shorthanded. They're not, it's October. So you're going to give the Warriors as many excuses as possible because they're the defending world champions. But everybody wants to get on the Lakers case because they started the season off on 5. This is what cracks me up about the NBA. I would be all over the Warriors sucking right now in these last few games, dude, because they got smoked by Charlotte. And come on, they lost to Detroit by 14. By 14 as a 7-point favorite last night. So they're not playing good basketball right now, and they're really playing on cruise control. So I think that this one right here is a good little home game for Miami tonight. Miami will get into this game. They'll really go ahead and they'll be able to put themselves in a position to where they entertain the home crowd. Hopefully, hopefully the Golden State guys had a good time at the little lounge bar restaurant they went to, and they just not interested in the game tonight because I really do like the Heat to win this game. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But Warriors at Heat, this game is a game between two very good teams that aren't playing good basketball right now, and pretty much that's why we have a 1.5 because the odds makers don't know where to direct you to. So there it is. I think what happens here, though, the Warriors will be probably minus 140 or so by tip. So be ready for that. It did open up as a pick 'em right now. The Heat are the favorite, but I think that this will flip because there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be hypnotized by the Warriors. But you do have to see who's going to be in and who's going to be out for the Warriors tonight as well, too. So with that, let's move on to our next game, which is going to be the Magic versus the Thunder. And you got Paulo, and he was supposed to be going against Chet tonight, but Chet is done for the season because he decided to play in the LeBron game up in Seattle. And guys were going a little bit too hard, and he wound up hurting his ankle. So that could be the beginning of Sam Bowie, Greg Oden type career. And I already said that kid was not ready to be in the NBA yet. He's too skinny, too small, and he didn't do enough in college to show me that he was really that top tier of a player for the NBA. But you know what? These guys, they got to go when they say that they're a top 5 pick, because if he just stuck around another year, he would have fell to 15 or 20 because they would have figured things out with him. Magic coming in here 1-6, Thunder are 3-3. Surprisingly, 2 of those wins are against the Clippers as well too, so you have to count that part. So they only got one win against a team other than the Clippers, but that means absolutely nothing because this team's actually won 3 in a row, beating the Dallas Mavericks by 6 the last time out. So this team is feeling themselves a little bit, and who's leading them in scoring right now? They're getting 31 points a game from the man himself, Mr. Shea Gilgeous Alexander, old Canada, and Clippers kind of, I know the Clippers kind of mad about not having him now because that kid is good, but he's getting 31 a game. But this guy, the kid's playing 36 minutes a game. This will slow down. It truly will. So you got Giddey, who's out tonight as well too. He's their second leading scorer. You got Dort, who's averaging 14, and then Terrence Mann's getting 13 a game. So they're getting 4 guys with double figures. But this is just early adrenaline and people not taking them as seriously as they should. And I think tonight they're gonna really, really overlook this Orlando team that is learning. You got Banchero as your leading scorer. But the thing is, though, what you like about this group is they got 7 guys averaging double figures. 7 guys. And they all are guys that were high, people were high on coming into the NBA. Bobo is getting 10.9 a game. You got Terrence Ross, who's really has been a good leader for this young Magic's team. He's getting 11.6. You got Suggs, who's actually out at the moment. He has his ankle sprain, but he's getting 11. He's getting 12 points a game. Then you got Wendell Carter getting 14.1. That's the former Bull. Franz Wagner 15, and then you have Cole Anthony, who has a oblique issue, getting the second leading scorer, 15 and a half a game. So when I see 7 guys in double figures, this team could be on the up and up. And RJ Hampton's still there coming off the bench as well too. He's not getting a lot of minutes, but he's still learning. You know what I mean? He's still a kid that's learning. There's a lot of talent in Orlando, but the thing is they have to make it come to fruition. So I think right now this is a game that easily goes over tonight. It's 216 and a half. I see the Magic scoring some points tonight. I see the Thunder scoring some points tonight. And believe it or not, I see a possible upset coming tonight as well, too. No, not a possible upset. I think that Orlando actually wins the game, to be honest with you. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But this should be a good one. And that's where we'll go from here. Over under 216 and a half. Feeling good, feeling great about this one. So there it is. There it is. We move forward. Let's go ahead and talk about the Wolves and the Suns. And this is going to be the game of the night. I think this will be on TNT as well, too. Let me double check that this is a TNT game. It is a TNT game tonight, just like Bulls and Nets. This is going to be the second half, the night game. That's going to start at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. my time, Pacific time. So you got Wolves, Suns. You got a 5-1 Suns team. You got a 4-3. You got a 4-3 Wolves team. So when you look at this one, you say to yourself, okay, this one should be a good spot. It should be a good spot for the Suns, in my opinion. I think the Suns 5-1, kind of picking up where they left off. The Suns did lose, have won 4 in a row since losing their first game of the year, which wasn't a big deal because it's October. But they still took care of their business. They went to Portland, lost by 2, easily could be 6-0. They've went ahead and won their next games by double digits, each and every single one of them, after their first games being really close. Both those games were decided by 2 points. So when I look at the 4 in a row, they smoked the Clippers on the road. Then they absolutely crushed the Warriors at home. Came back around, beat up on the Pelicans, and then made easy work out of the Rockets on Sunday. So with that, I would say this: the 3.5, which is now a 4, should be something really good to bet on. I know the Wolves look really tempting tonight, but the Wolves, to me, are a team that it's not playing good against the better teams in the NBA. I'm looking at their wins and losses right now. They lost to Utah. They've lost to San Antonio, and then they've lost to San Antonio twice. So I don't know how good they can be, but I think that the Suns do wind up going ahead and winning this game by double digits, to be honest with you, because they have absolutely been crushing teams by 15 or better at home. So I think tonight they show out for TNT. So there it is. There it is. I really do like where we're going to, and the life that we're going to, and what we're going to do. So I like that. I like where we're going with that. And I just truly do think that this is going to be a good spot for us tonight with Phoenix. So when I get back, we'll go ahead and go through the talking tickets. So you guys be prepared for that. You guys can always catch this show and any of my content on Prime Wave Media. Also, you can type in on YouTube and watch all my great boxing interviews and a lot of interviews that I had over during the Super Bowl a few years back in Miami and this year's draft. So make sure you guys tune in to the Prime Wave Media channel and to Fanatics View as well too. So there it is. There it is. With that, we'll be right back. And when I get back, we're going to go ahead and talk those tickets. So you guys stay tuned. This is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the PrimeTime Angles Live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper.
Now you and your friends can compete in the sport of kings and win big with Stable Duel. Get the app, pick your horses, and get in on the thrill of horse racing with daily games competing against other players. Bring home the glory and the cash, and move up the annual leaderboard while you leave your competition in the dust. Get in the game with Stable Duel. Play, race, win.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners and I'll Have Another and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
All right, we are back with the PrimeTime Angles Live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper. You can catch this show on replay on my Twitter feed. You can catch it on the YouTube page, and you can catch it on my Facebook as well too. And you can catch it on the Instagram as well too at DiBiaseWave _. And also, if you guys are wondering about my Prime Wave MG, Prime Wave _MG, they actually took that one from me too. So, I don't know. That's the second Prime Wave page that they took from me. So I don't know IG. I can't keep doing it. But we still got the PTSI page there as well too. So, you guys can check it out. But let's go ahead and get into the business at hand. I know that you guys have been patiently waiting for the talking tickets. Now, let's go ahead and get into it. We have the talking tickets, and pretty much they barking today, baby. And we got the under 62 in this spot with the Kent State Ball State game. I like the -4 first half on Kent State, and I like the half a point on Kent State in the first quarter. Now we go ahead and we go down to our next group, which is Buffalo and Ohio, and I like Ohio with the dog bet tonight, +120. As you can see, they're a 3.5 point spread, but they're +120. That means that a lot of people are betting on the money tonight. People want to bet the winner tonight. They ain't worried about what's going on with the spread tonight, because this is bet the winner game right here. You have the under 30 with the first half tonight as well. And then I also like Ohio in the first quarter with the +0.5 point. So there it is with the MAC Tuesday night bets. And there it is. There it is. I broke it all down for you. I gave you guys the numbers on what to expect here. And that's where I'm going here. So we move forward, and let's go ahead and jump into our next topic in hand for talking tickets. And that's going to be the NBA Primetime Pick 4, 12-1 tonight on that ticket. I already explained to you guys what I was doing here. I'm taking the under 231.5 with the Bulls and the Nets. I like the Heat tonight with the minus 115. Taking the over 216 with the Magic and the Thunder. I do expect scoring in that spot tonight, even though both these teams are low scoring or somewhat low scoring teams in the NBA. I know the Thunder have been getting 118, 120, and 117 their last few games, but they've been giving up a lot of points as well, too. I think tonight, Paolo has him a big game, so whatever his over-under score total is, play the over on that bad boy, okay? And then we have the Suns tonight in the nightcap going against the Wolves. I'm taking them with the -4. Let's see how that one shapes out, and there it is with the -4. So there it is. And then we have the World Series game, 3 bets. I got the Astros -1.5. The plus 135 is on that deal as well, too. I got the Astros money line -130, first 5 innings. And then I have the Phillies going under 3 runs tonight. I think the Phillies only score 1 or 2 runs tonight, if that. I think that this game does wind up being a very, very good pitching game, but I think that the Astros do wind up still being dominant tonight and get themselves a nice close win by 2 or more runs. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out, but that's where we're going tonight with our talking tickets. And so with that, we are now at the end. And man, this is always like, man, why? Tomorrow we do have the NFL Bet Exchange coming on at 10, and then I'll have this show ready at noon tomorrow, okay? So you guys make sure we got double take going tomorrow. So you guys be ready for that. Tomorrow we'll have the NFL Bet Exchange, and we will have the PrimeTime Angles live as well, too. Going to be talking some Chargers tomorrow. Going to be talking a little bit of Rams tomorrow as well, too, on the show. And then, it's game day for the Lakers, so we'll have our Laker preview and what to expect in that game as well. And then we got talking tickets, and then we have some more college football games for you as well, too, or just one college football game. But we got college football, and we got World Series Game 4 for you as well, too. So you make sure to tune in. And also, I'm going to go ahead and start opening up. I'm showing you guys exactly what the best bets of the week are as well, too, going into the weekend. So you guys, man, we got some great shows going all week this week. Make sure you tune in. Make sure you retweet. Do what you got to do. Let's keep the movement moving. As I always say, bet with your head, not with your heart. And, man, it's just we on a mission right now. So let's get this money, and let's go ahead and make sure that we bet responsibly. Don't be impulsive about this thing, okay? So with that, this is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the PrimeTime Angles Live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper, and I'll be back at you tomorrow. Man, as I always say, just play the game and you'll get the results. So make sure you guys keep watching the Premier Sports Betting Show, man. And I love bringing it to you. And I'm gone straight up. Love you, Pops. And we are out of here.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.